Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Zoe. And we have an audio. I guess it's her talking on audio instead of me reading an email. So here we go.
Hi Ollie. Hello. I was wondering if you could do a video about this for me, please. My childhood and my life with my family has just been it's an either suffocation or neglect situation. I am the eldest child and the scapegoat. My sister's 3 years younger and the favourite, the golden child. My father was born in 1944.
Boomer.
An abusive father, I know that. Not violently, just mentally. I guess, does that make him a boomer?
Yes.
Also, my mum's 1950, abusive mum.
Another boomer.
Late in life and couldn't be bothered, basically. It was very cold. Again, I don't know. I think that.
So 2 boomers so far.
Does fit your profiling of the boomers, doesn't it?
Yup.
Yeah, my mum's the youngest of 7. None of her siblings speak to her. Some of them are dead now, but none of them had anything to do with her. Yeah, so my dad totally enables her. He throws me under the bus every single time, even to the fact that, they'd hear shouting and they'd just run in the room. What have you done now, And sometimes, I was never beaten, I have to be honest about that, but I did get the odd clump, and even now he still thinks it's okay as a grown-up to do that, and I've actually nearly killed him when I've hit him back before now because he's an old man. So, but I don't think you can really take that when you're an adult, can you? It is assault, you know what I mean? So
A thump? So you weren't beaten, but he hits you as an adult? Listen, nobody should be laying hands, whether it's a beating or a thump. I think that's what you called it. It's all unacceptable.
My mum actually really hates my dad. She treats him like shit.
They usually do hate each other and resent each other, but they stay together because they usually make a good team.
On him. She's embarrassed by him. She won't take him anywhere. She thinks that she's still quite nice looking, my mum. She's not really aged much, and I've got a theory it's because they drain everyone else and everyone else seems to age. But my dad looks ancient. He declared himself old at a very young age. She treats him like shit. Yeah, he follows her around like a puppy, does anything for her. They sleep in separate rooms. They've done that since a very young age, since I've been a young age. In fact, I've always joked that they've only ever done it twice. As a kid, when she did stay in the same bed as my dad, she always used to say about his snoring, and she used to creep out, and she would actually get in with my sister at night. And again, I think this is inappropriate because the poor girl couldn't move. My mum's very, don't move, keep still. And that was her own bed, and yet my mum would get in, and she did it to me once, and I really needed a wee, and she wouldn't let me get up for a wee.
Yeah, that was something that, I never wanted to sleep around my parents, especially my mom. They wouldn't let you sleep. I don't like people. Charlene is fine, even my ex-wife. I mean, because I'm a violent sleeper anyway. But the more I think about it, the more I think I was a violent sleeper because of the shit my mother did to me in my sleep,
Yes, I've been told I'm crazy and mental since a very young age as a child, and that I will be taken to the doctors and had my head looked at, and that I go like something possessed when I lose my temper. Yeah, it's usually her that screams and she stamps her feet like a toddler, and she can't talk, she just screams basically. There is no talking to her. If it's in person, she'll stomp and walk off or go mad. And if it's on the phone, she will just hang up the minute anything's questioned or anything she doesn't like is said. There's no chance of me recording phone calls because she doesn't even give me that much. And consequently, when that happens, then you're just ignored again. She can ignore for England, my mum. Yes, it's not good. I've been her unpaid therapist since about the age of 8. She just started talking to me about my dad and how she didn't love him and she loved him.
Yeah, this is something that Charlene's parents did to her, starting at like 4, 5, 6 years old. You know, like all their marital problems were being dumped on her and talked like she's their therapist.
As a brother, and constantly about her childhood and her family. Incidentally, it's the same stories over and over and over again, and you're just expected to keep listening on the phone, and the minute you don't respond or you just say yes, I know mum, she just goes ape shit. I mean, how many times can you keep listening to the same story over 45 years and not, keep giving the right answer? But it's the same shit over and over again. Constant drama. My mum was always in constant drama with people getting into arguments and fights, and if she wasn't, she'd kind of pick fights at home. I think it was a boredom she needed to. I've always said when she's bored, she's lethal. Being 8 years old, and I can remember about that time. I can remember the first time her getting really, really aggressive.
So what we have here is another, and very exactly what I grew up with, another borderline boomer mother, okay, who they can't keep friends, they can't stop fighting with people, they tell you you're the problem and you're crazy, and it's to the point where you can't even keep her on the phone too, because I understand the tactics she used. It's just hit and run, hit and run, hit and run.
She threw pots and pans at me, saucepans, and they were landing either side of me. I did something that annoyed her and she went mad. I was always told I was always the ugly one. I don't know if it was even said, but it was just so obvious the way I was treated. And my sister was like the show pony. She was the pretty one. She got the nice clothes. She got her hair cut in a salon, whereas I got old second-hand shit and mum permed my hair and melted it off most of the time. As a teenager, I was permanently grounded. I mean, the slightest reason she would find to keep me in, especially if there was something I liked, like I discovered a youth club or friends, it would be that she'd take away from me, because that was kind of my lifeline. And obviously I discovered boys and that in my teenage. Made a few wrong choices, but she would go through my underwear in the dirty washing pile, seeing if I was sexually active. You can guess what she was looking for.
Oh, yeah. This is stuff that my mother used to accuse Virginia of doing to her. This is stuff, Virginia, my grandmother, used to do to my mother and her sisters. As it turned out, Virginia had plenty of reason to be doing it because, at least my mother and Barbara were fucking complete whores. They're wild. Oh, that was something Virginia yelled out one day during a fight. Ugh. But my mother would tell me these stories, and then I would go, and then shit would go on with her and Virginia, and then Virginia and I would and Virginia would say, "Yeah, I did," because they were fucking whores. Oh, and Virginia's borderline as they come. Like this is sick behavior that is passed down between generation and generation of borderline women, and they poison their daughters and they ruin their sons.
But my sister told me she did that. But obviously my sister was an agent for her anyway and spied, and it was just awful. I hated my sister, and I still got so much resent towards her. It's the terrible gaslighting that goes on with my family, and you'll just never be very close to mum, that's all I get. And it's like, well, as if it's my fault. My mum always gave my stuff.
But why do you want to be? Why do you want to be close to the borderline boomer? Why? Why? She's awful from pillar to post. From pillar to post, she's just awful, looking for any reason to ground you, ruin your childhood, ruin your teen years, you ruin your adulthood. Why would you want to be close to something like that?
Away. She would think nothing of giving stuff to other people if they came around the house and said, that's nice, or whatever, and then I'd find out it had gone. And even pets she would give away. And we had a little Yorkshire Terrier called Fred, and he was a bit naughty and crazy, but I loved that dog. And he used to come to me and I'd feed him and he'd sleep in my room. And one day I remember coming home from work and she'd given him away. She'd taken him to a rehoming centre. I never saw him again, and I was devastated over that. Absolutely devastated. And that turned into her going, oh, it was a cry for help, and just being ridiculously dramatic about everything.
Yeah, they do that. They do that. One of the stories another story my mother told about Virginia. She put the dog down so they could go down to the shore on vacation because she didn't want to deal with the dog anymore. She didn't want to, everybody comes home like, where's the dog? She's like, oh, I had it put to sleep because I didn't want it down the shore. And I don't mean to laugh. But then, like they said, like my grandfather, because my grandfather was still alive at the time, so the whole trip down the shore, it was like a 2-hour car ride, 2.5-hour car ride back then, because they were too cheap to use the Parkway because it cost 25 cents. Murderer, 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 and the whole way down. Everybody's crying in the car, and I don't mean to laugh, but it's horrible. They use pets. They have no problem giving away the things you love. The things you love. Oh, you want to go on vacation? Okay, I'm going to kill your dog.
She would infiltrate friendships and find out what she could. She would infiltrate with the mothers of my friends as well, gossip and find stuff out. She'd be quite inappropriate.
Yeah, this is the shit I went through with my mother. Constantly going through my in the gossip in my own high school. My mother is fucking spread, like I'm getting into fights freshman year, from juniors and seniors coming after me because they think I'm going home talking about fucking gossip in high school to my mother about who's cheating on whose girlfriend. Like, I don't even, bro, I don't even know who you fucking are. What are you talking about? Your mother said that I've fucking blown, and I, my mother isn't fucking sane, dude. I don't fucking talk to my mother.
With male friends or boyfriends, if they came, if we had groups of friends around or whatever, she would get pictures of herself in miniskirts in the 60s and in bunny girl costume and things like that. So they would go, cool, you were really good looking, as young fellas would, but I could never have got away with dressing like that with her. She controlled everything. She still tries to do that. One thing she does do is if there is a family event like a wedding or something to go to, she will straight away go out and you dread these words, I bought you an outfit to wear to the wedding. And you think, oh fuck no, because it's always some frumpy old awful thing, some old sack you have to wear, and I can't do it. I would just feel so uncomfortable. It always ends in an argument. All I can say is it must be done on purpose. Who does that? Wouldn't you take someone out, especially a grown-up, and just say choose something?
Because your mother's in competition with you. All she wants to do is put you down because she's in total competition with you for life.
Ends up at the bottom of a wardrobe, never gets taken back to a shop, there's no refund, so there's the martyrdom with that. She also has the thing about decorating, which is weird. If you say you're going to do something in the house or decorate, she'll go and choose the colours, and I'll buy stuff, buy the wallpaper or whatever. And it's usually the colour you said you didn't want or the pattern you didn't want. and she'll spend a fortune on it, and then you're stuck with what she wants in your house, and it's again another you're ungrateful.
Like, this is this is every story you've told on it's happened in another boomer video with other boomer parents. This is what they do. This is what they do. They control everything for life. And if you try to push back, they cry victim. They cry foul.
It's almost as if she desperately needs to pick fights all the time. But I'm just an ungrateful old cunt. That's all anyone ever says to me. She would also break my stuff if I did something and we had an argument and I went out as a teenager. I'd come back and she'd smash, records you don't get anymore, but vinyl records, she'd stomp on them. She'd do stuff. Another crazy episode. I can remember being a teenager and I can't remember what we were talking about, but the word lazy came up and I said, "You're lazy," or something, and she got the hump about it. Next day I went to school thinking nothing of it, and when I come home she said, "There's a surprise for you upstairs." And when I looked, she had written in all of my lipsticks, which she'd broken, she'd used all my lipsticks up and broke them, "You're the lazy one, dearie," right across my bedroom wall. And my friend found out about this, and all that mattered was that what she thought of Mum, and that she knew, not that it was crazy shit what she did in the first place. I mean, my friend thought it was absolutely nuts. She liked to tell people private things about me. She spies. She follows and spies. She's done it to other people, so I'm guessing she's done it to me. And she would get my sister to spy as well and report back. I hated school. My school was horrible. I was very unhappy. I was a freak at school, really, and I think you got to kick me sign on your head sometimes. And I desperately wanted to get out of that school, but she would never let me go to another school. Whereas my sister was there for a few weeks after when she started, and my mum took her straight out. But I had to keep going to that fucking horrible school. And there was a maths teacher who was from hell. She was an awful woman, and she always picked on me. And my mum actually said to her at a parents' evening that Zoe needs a push. You have to push her, and that they should push me harder. So so that's nice. There was never a lock on the bathroom door, and Mum would just walk in, or she would just start screaming.
Check.
Her mouth saying she needed the toilet if you were in the bath.
Like, every story is either on this channel. Most of them are my life. You were raised by another borderline boomer degenerate. I mean, that's just what we're dealing with here, people. I mean, we have heard this story over and over and over again. Like, what else is there to say? It's like, this one just checks all the boxes. And I'm just sitting here, like, stewing here. Because you must have triggered like 6 different memories in my head right now, just with my own bullshit between my mother and my father.
Had to do her housework quite a lot. Me and my sister would have to do housework, like in the school holidays. She would go on work half a day. She just did hairdressing, cash in hand, like old ladies. But we had to do a certain amount of jobs, like hoovering, polishing, cleaning the bathroom. And when she come home, if it wasn't done, she would go absolutely ape shit. But if it was done, it was just a given. She was never like, "Oh, that looks nice, thanks, girls," or I'd also have to, and this is something I hated doing, and I used to get really upset over it, and this would cause a lot of problems. She'd ask me to ring in sick for her, basically. She worked for herself. She did old ladies' hair and stuff, but she'd frequently blow out and not want to go, or change her mind about going. And I'd be like, "Oh, please, no." And these old ladies would be crying on the phone, saying, "Get my hair done before I go to the funeral," or something like that. And it was like, if you said no, she went ape shit. It was awful, the bullying. And then ringing sick for your mum, who does that?
Borderlines.
Constant surgery all my life that I can remember. Not cosmetic surgery, things like lumps removed. And she's constantly has, every couple of years she's under the knife for something, though they've never found anything. Now I don't know if this is a common thing. I know they can be hypochondriacs, but they never usually just take out little fatty lumps, and fibroids and things. But she always manages to have great big operations where she's cut and all sorts, because I think she just kicks off so much. But seriously, all my life she's been in and out of hospital.
It's a constant need for attention. It's constant. It's exhausting. And I'm sure in the next 13 minutes and 9 seconds this recording has, okay, it's going to be a litany of other stories, okay, of hypochondria, trips to the hospital, rage outs, crying fits, ruined holidays, missed promises, threats on the phone. Let's see how many.
He does like having surgery. I think she's got a bit of an addiction to it. Again, I suppose that's some kind of supply. The most recent one, she had a massive bowel operation, and this was
she's full of shit.
Poo test thing, and they trace blood in your poo. And she went for the colonoscopy, and it was a polyp that.
Maybe it was an operation for being full of shit. Maybe they figured that one out. Oh God, there'd be a lot of surgeries there, boy.
It turned a little bit and looked a bit odd, and they were just going to lance it because they were convinced at that stage it hadn't gone far enough for anything to be too sinister, and they could just get it off, nip it in the bud, no surgery needed, just with a rectal examination, lance this. But no, she wouldn't have it done, and she kept on, and she argued with surgeons and was going backwards and forwards and wanted to see them, demanding that she had this big operation, that if it was what they would do if it was cancer.
And again, just a reminder, I believe, you're in the UK. I believe you have socialized medicine there. So it's probably all a taxpayer expense that she does all this.
Which meant cutting the part of the bowel out and stitching it back together, which was a massive operation. Her stomach had to be cut open. She did not need it at all.
So why would these fucking doctors, they just do it. And they'll do it over there because the taxpayer pays for it. Societal narcissism created these fucking boomers. Okay? And they realize these are the things you do to ruin a society, but to maintain it at the same time. You got to do this. You got to create these monsters, okay, and then have them come in and have society pay for their fucking bullshit in the medical system, that she's probably clogging up a fucking operating room for somebody who could actually need it. But there's money to be made, right?
That she did, and she got her own way, and she's never been the same since. Yet the whole thing was a waste of time and unnecessary. She did not need that. During the first lockdown, it was horrendous. It was months, wasn't it? And I was ignored. Well, me and my daughter were ignored for all of it, basically. No inquiries, no nothing, because I disagree with her about something, and she just ignores you. Family secrets, it's like Fight Club, you can't tell anyone about it. And the worst thing is not that she's done it, or it's the truth.
And it's only going to get worse with your child, okay? If she's ever accepted, she's going to try to turn the child against you. Okay, but your child will never have the status of any of your siblings' children will ever have. She will always be the bottom rung until the day she's used against you.
They tell someone you're not allowed to say anything about her. Basically, she's obsessed with it. I wanted to tell you another crazy story. Once, when I was in my 20s, I had to move back home. I think couldn't afford to keep a flat going or something with my partner, and they obviously didn't like me. They didn't want me there, but she didn't like me going out. She doesn't think anyone should have a life. She's very, very strange about stuff like that.
Well, because she wants she don't want anybody to have a life because she wanted to have the life. She's wearing miniskirts in the 60s, fucking boomer whore bitch. She doesn't want you to have a better life than her. I keep telling, I've told people this over and over, and I realize I've never heard from you before. But understand something. Your mother is the typical narcissistic baby boomer, borderline personality disorder mother. She will never stop competing with you. Never. Never. She only wants the worst for you. And anything that takes attention away from her is bad.
But I went out one night and I came back now. It was only around 11ish because it would have been after the pub shut. And I was saying goodbye to someone outside, and they're up on an embankment, they're up high, and I could see her hanging out of her bedroom window looking up and down the road, trying to see if she can see me coming, spying. Right? And the look on the face said everything. Anyway, she didn't see me. She didn't see that I saw her. And I let myself in. I crept up the stairs really quietly up to my bedroom, and as I got to the top, bang crash, scream, you've woken me up, and going absolutely ape.
And then you walk in to something that you know is a fucking performance. That you know it, like you've caught them spying and them acting like you've created some huge offense. Okay, like waking them up, or like wait a minute, bitch, I just saw you hanging out the fucking window. I know I didn't lie. What are you calling me a liar? And that's what they're gonna go for. That's what they always like. You're calling your mother a liar? Yup. 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 Let's see where this goes.
Basically to make my dad wake up and go mad, so he comes running in, what you done? You know.
Or the performance is to trigger, is the fuse to light someone else.
It was just absolutely horrendous. And you woke me up, I'm sick of this noise. And I'm like, I looked at her and I said, I've just seen you hanging out of a window. How can I have woken you up? So again, that was just done to pick a terrible fight. Obviously, I didn't sleep that night. I don't know if they would have done, but I'm sure she would have slept like the dead after that. It must have made her feel great. But the gaslighting, it's how you can be convinced that it didn't happen, or it's just,
she knows it happened. She'll just never admit it.
I stuck up for both my dad and my sister when she's been out of order before with them. And I've fallen out, and you get...
No, they reap what they sow. Don't be a sucker. Don't. Do they defend you? No. No.
Ignored, and yet they'll be talking again, in no time, and you're just left. She's jealous. She's pathologically jealous of everyone. And
most borderlines are.
Say friends of mine or my sister's partners, or even the mums of partners and friends she's jealous of, and if you mention them she'll say, I'm sick of hearing about blah blah, or so was I can do that, or I did that as well. She's always got to be pushing herself forward. She hates my dad's sister, she hates my dad's mum. What else? My sister,
the borderline competes with everybody, especially the baby boomer. The baby boomer borderline competes with everybody. Everything is a ranking system in their head, and they're seeing themselves. If they don't see themselves at the pinnacle of that pyramid, look out. Everybody is assessed. Everybody is sized up. Every new person who walks through the door is sized up, and you better stay on your level. You better know your fucking level and understand something. Zoe, you're the bottom level. You're at the bottom. Every new person is a potential threat to knocking her off that pinnacle. They compete with everybody. This is how they go through life, through a ranking system. Everybody is immediately ranked, and you better know your level. And you better not try to get off of it.
Sister once had an affair with someone she didn't approve of. And, it was a bit of an inappropriate situation, but it was my sister's mistake. When my mum sort of guessed what was going on, that there was something going on there, she acted like a jealous partner. She was appalling, kept ringing up and screeching, hysterical, going mad. It was awful how she treated my sister and myself, because when I stuck up for her, she just kept ringing up and screaming at me. When I stuck up for her, she ignored me, and that was during my pregnancy. I was ignored for most of my pregnancy.
Because she was looking for a reason to ruin your pregnancy. She was looking for anything. Understand something. If that didn't happen with your sister, she would have ruined it over something else. That was just the most convenient thing to do. Okay? Your pregnancy was being ruined one way or another. Okay? So don't think it was just because it was over, this incident with your sister's affair, don't think it was because of it. No. It was just the reason. It was just the scapegoat she had to ruin your pregnancy. Remember, it's all about her. She's the pinnacle, and it all goes up. It all goes up. It's like working for like a multi-level marketing firm. That's what a borderline mother is. Having a borderline mother is like working for a multi-level marketing firm, a pyramid scheme. She's at the top. Everybody's assessed, and you better know your fucking level. You better know your level.
I lost quite a few before then, so it was very important, with this baby. But she sabotages things as best she can, either by she lets you down at the last minute by agreeing to help you with something. And what she'll do is, she usually does it all her own way, like if you say about it being at a certain time.
Now, mind you, I said it 13 minutes in, we were going to get to the sabotaging, the promises. I mean, we're checking a lot of fucking boxes here, because they're all the same. Understand something, Zoe. If nothing else, your mother is typical. Your mother follows a playbook. She's a fucking robot. Your mother sees anybody and everybody in her life as a competition. She sees herself sitting at that pinnacle, and anybody else she sees coming through is a threat to her. When she attacks hard, it's because she sees them as a threat.
She'll come at the wrong time, either later or earlier, so it all goes wrong, or that she likes to come early and not tell you, so she catches you off guard. I don't know what she wants to catch you doing, or so you're not in, and then she can start ringing and having a go at you for not
no boundaries. This is
trying to find out who you're with and stuff like
these that. Are all tactics my mother used on me, Virginia used on her. These are just fucking classic, and you can't stop them unless you get away from them.
Like that, always that you must have a man, you up to something, you've got a man. I mean, she's embarrassed by me. Like on occasions when
she's not embarrassed by you, she's jealous of you. She doesn't want you to have it better than she did. She had those pictures of her in mini skirts and her whoring around in the 60s, didn't she? So what is all this? All it is just a jealous, aging fucking boomer who doesn't want her daughters to have it better than her. She's in constant competition.
Work, and it was a common thing that you could pop and see her at work. She hasn't wanted me to meet certain people, and there's been I know what it's about. I don't have to be told.
She probably shit talks you as work. No,
she think everyone's got to be blonde. Unfortunately, they're all very bleach blonde, and I'm dark. I stopped bleaching my hair a long time ago, but I feel like I'm me. But I'm the only person who's ever had my back.
Do you know why? I'll tell you exactly why. When they're all blonde like that and you're dark hair, they see you as exotic. That's why. What is a blue alert? Oh, I'm sorry. This is all my devices are going to start doing this shit. Some kind of blue alert. All right. I don't know exactly what that is. Hopefully it's not a hurricane or a tornado. Shit, that threw me off. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the dark hair. She's worried they're going to find you exotic or attractive or special or unique. Okay? That's very detrimental to the top of the pyramid. Very scary to her. You're unique. You're different. You stand out. That's why she wants to fucking hold you down.
And even as a child, she used to compare me to her mum. You're just like my mum. Now I knew she hated her mum, and her mum wasn't very nice. So I always had that. I moved.
What a shock. More mother issues. From one mother down to the next. Every time.
10 years ago, I moved, over 10 years ago, I moved 100 miles away to get away from them, because I just kept getting isolated and ignored, and I was living in a bedsit. It was awful. I ended up taking up with someone who was a narcissist, basically, an alcoholic, very abusive, rotten, got pregnant. He more or less abandoned us when she was a baby. He was just out being fucking everything that he can, and just, it was awful. But he's quite a sick person now. He's buggered up his body with the drinking. He's seriously ill. So I had her. I was completely isolated and depressed. So I ended up moving back 100 miles back again, under the belief that my family would support me.
Why? Why would you think that? Why would you think that? Why? Why would you think that? They're not going to support you, ever.
Or, God forbid, she could help me with a school run or anything like she does for my sister. Or, well, anything really. She refuses to let you go out or have a life. I know that. She doesn't agree that you should have a life. But basically, the whole 4 years that I've been here, she's ignored me for the best part of it.
You're still there? All right. So it's get the fuck out. It's get the fuck out time. But I don't even know what's going on over there with your COVID restrictions. Who the hell knows?
I'm back at birthdays and Christmas. They seem to think it's a given to come round after the ignoring, there's never an apology, there's never admitting anything, it's just lied about and gaslit. No, it wasn't. And why would you? I don't see the point. Why is those 2 days so special? Why do they have to do that, really? I'd rather do my own thing. So, but I've lived in this house for 4 years. We've got no carpet, the two of us. We've got no carpet, hardly any furniture. Obviously lowest of the low financially, because I'm a single mum, so things have been really, really tough. I'm actually trying to move back 100 miles again, purely because I've got a friend down there who can support me.
That's crucial. You got to get away from these people. You got to get away from these people and stay away this time.
I can have some kind of support from someone. She can be on the emergency school pickup list if anything happens to me, and also it's walkable to the sea, and I don't think you can be too depressed if you've got the sea. So I just want to go. I want to go no contact. I don't want to go no contact, but I know I have to.
You have to.
I want them to love me. I want her to come around and be sorry and just treat me the same. And
never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. You gotta accept it. You gotta accept it. She's too fucking deranged. She's too deranged. She's every fucking box, okay, that you could check for a borderline mother. You ain't changing her. No way. No how. She wouldn't want it. How? She won't even accept there's anything wrong. Like, where? Where is this going to happen? Focus on your own safety and your own happiness.
Girl, treat her the same as her male cousins, the grandchildren. She's the only girl, see, but it counts for nothing. All she does is put down. She sticks her nose in between me and my little girl. Always says that this has been said, that's been said. There's always gossip. She says really inappropriate things to me that she's got no right to say, and is just rude and interrogating. She constantly just talks about herself. The minute you talk about anything, she changes it back to her, like, yeah, well, that's what happened to me, or, oh, well, at least it didn't happen like that, like it did to me. Or if I'm upset, or if I say something, you just get, well, never mind, change the subject. Or if you're emotional, that's put down. She doesn't like your emotions. I've been very ill for the past few years. I've got terrible depression, anxiety, awful confusion, memory loss. I've been referred to a memory clinic. I feel like I'm 80 years old. It's terrible, and this is why I need to...
Because you're living in toxicity, okay? Like I tell everybody, okay? With no contact comes clarity. The reason you can't remember anything is because you're still in the toxicity. Period. You don't need a memory clinic. You're not going to need a memory clinic. You're going to need no contact.
Support from someone. Constant flashbacks. Just living in flashback land, really. I'm just watching your videos and other videos just to get through. I feel like I have to be watching them all the time to get through the day. It's that bad. Another thing I said about the clothes, how controlling she is. She's also done that with my little girl when she went back to school after the last lockdown on the holiday. She'd grown a lot and she couldn't get into her school clothes, so I said I was going to get some. And my little girl is incredibly tall for her age, just like I was. She's very big for her age. She's 8, but she's wearing a 12-13 top at the moment to school, polo top. And I told to my mum, that before she ignored me again this time, that she needed a big size. And she said, I've got her clothes. And I thought, oh God. I said, did you get the big sizes? I said, no, they just look ridiculously big. They were far too big. So she's got her more or less her age size. As I've said, she's massive for her age. Guess what? She couldn't get in any of it and was crying that she was fat. I mean, is that...
You gotta get it. Yeah. Yes, she's trying to... I told you she was going to destroy your child, too. You gotta go. You gotta get out of there. You gotta go. She's 8. This woman will fucking destroy your daughter, too, because she can't help herself.
How she used to fuck with mine. I just don't know. I wouldn't want to think it's deliberate, but come on. How many times can you keep doing the same thing and expecting the same reaction, I mean, surely you'd learn, wouldn't you? It must all just be done for cruelty. Can you give me your opinion, Ollie, on all of it, please, and be honest? Let me know what you think. Do you think she's MPD? Do you think she's borderline?
Borderline.
I just really want to be happy and give my daughter the best life, because she's had enough upheavals. Obviously what affects me affects her. But thank you anyway. I really like all your work. It's really, really good, and I love listening to the recordings. Bye.
All right. She's BPD to the extreme. Okay, I understand. I'm not a psychologist. It's BPD to the extreme. She's dangerous, and she will destroy your fucking daughter if you allow her to. Okay, because in this age and this climate, okay, there's just too many tools for her to use to be able to do it. And if your daughter's in one of these awkward growth spurts where she's long torsoed and she's tall for it, you can't do that to a girl. You can't do it. You gotta go. Wherever you can go 100 miles away, do it, and do it quickly. Because like I told you, your mother is in competition with everybody, and that includes now your 8-year-old daughter. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the borderline show for your daughter. That's what's going on. She competes with everybody, and she don't want your daughter to knock her off the top of her pyramid. Period. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and your story, Zoe. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you guys. Without you, all of this goes away, as I am 100% demonetized by Google and YouTube. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.